right, welcome back everyone to our, we're on day 2 of our amazing interview series, and I have with me now the mindset mastery coach extraordinaire in my book, Liz Nicklas. She is here to talk all about mindset and money for the entrepreneur. So you are in the right place if you are registered for the Leadership Innovation Action interview series. This is designed for coaches, consultants, service-based entrepreneurs, online professionals. In the midst of everything that we have been dealing with across our entire globe, I know that there are so many questions in people's minds about, do I keep selling? Can I sell higher ticket items? Can I still be growing my business? Is now the time? Do I really have opportunity right now? Or maybe you're thinking like, is this my time to shine? Is this my time to really be super innovative, to really show up and be visible for my community, to make offers in a way that I never have before with total belief and confidence and certainty? I know Liz and I are on the same page. We believe that that is such a possibility for you right now. So I'm excited to dive into this really juicy conversation. Out of the whole series, Liz, this is like the main one on entrepreneurial mindset and what that really means and how we can really be strengthening our mindset during a really challenging time. So I'm excited to have you. I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about you and your background before we dive into our conversation today.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for having me. I love our conversations that we have constantly one-on-one with each other. And so I feel like we're just sharing that with the world today. So I think it's just amazing. You and I are always talking about how to up-level. We're always talking how to get more results from ourselves, more results for our clients. And I think there's no better conversation to be having right now in this time with where the world is. I think this is what we train for. We're here for a reason. My background is I've been a teacher and a coach combined for over 20 years. I've been in my own private practice, my own mindset coaching practice now for over 10 years. And for about 8.5 of them, it was one-on-one international coaching with top women in business, and just teaching and training them on all things mindset, on what mindset really is, on the science of mindset, on the daily work of mindset, and how to become the person that allows you to up level. And about 1.5 years ago, I actually switched my own business model, and now I teach courses and programs so that I can get to more people. And I have my own business and I teach over there. And I also teach in structured freedom, which I love. And this has been like so amazing. So you and I actually started as client and coach. I was a client of yours. I came to you to change my business model, and it all took off. And it took off for me because I needed your expertise. I needed your genius about how to be out in the marketplace and how to launch and how to scale. And I already had all the mindset tools. So that combination allowed me to double and now almost triple my business in a very short period of time. And then you and I together had this concept, wow, what I did, combining those two, you and I could offer that. And the rest, as they say, has been history. And it's been amazing.
Okay, Liz, I actually wasn't planning on talking about this, but because you have kind of shown everybody what our relationship has looked like over time, I would love for you to share the story that I've actually only heard you share recently. We're going to dive into some nitty-gritty mindset stuff, but I'd love to set up for our audience what mindset work really means and the role that it plays in our businesses when we are setting goals, when we want to take the next leap, when we want to change our business model. So tell the story about before we started working together, not on how we connected, but you had already decided in your mind what it is that you were going to go for. But you spent quite a bit of time doing something else other than taking business action. So I'd love to hear you talk about how you set yourself up for success when you were transitioning, so that when you actually connected in my business program to do the courses, to do the groups, to fill them, to take the quantum leaps financially every month in your business, that it actually worked for you. So let's start with that story because it's so good.
Yeah, so let me just start by saying that I think mindset has a PR problem. I think most people don't know what real mindset work is. And most people aren't doing real mindset work. So I just want to kind of say first what mindset's not, and then I'll tell everybody exactly what it is I did pre you and I connecting. And it made all the difference. And it's exactly what I coach and train people to do, and what you are and I are now bringing to the Structured Freedom community. So here's what mindset's not. Mindset work is not, I read a lot of personal development books. Mindset work is not, I listen to 3 podcasts a week. Mindset work is not, I talk to people that are doing personal development work and we have a lot of great conversations. It's not even one live event you go to and you jump up and down like a lunatic for 3 days with 10,000 other people. That's not mindset work either. It's not positive thinking, and it's not positive affirmations. It's not journaling, and it's not vision boards. Now, all of those things can be and are incredible pieces of putting your mindset in the right direction. So I never come down against any of those things. But any of those things, or even combinations of those things, really won't move the needle. It's not enough, because of what mindset work is really based upon understanding that you have 2 different parts of your brain, and one is running the show, and we're trying to fix our mindset issues with the other part of our brain that isn't running the show. So what I did, I decided in December of, the end of December 2019, that I wanted to change my business model. I just was ready to do something.
Right?
2018.
Yeah.
Sorry, 2018. December 2018, I decided that I was going to make a quantum leap in terms of how I was going to deliver. So I wasn't going to change what I was doing, but I was going to change the method. I was going to scale. And so I spent the first 2 months of the year, January and February, doing nothing in the actionable column to change my business at all. I just kept doing what I was doing every single day. I didn't have any conversations with anybody. I didn't have a to-do list. I didn't write anything down. I didn't read any books on how to scale. What I did was the exact work I bring to my clients, which is I practiced believing greater than my circumstances. And I practiced believing into the new version of who I wanted to become. And I did it every single day, religiously, morning and night, the same exact work that I have my clients do. I just worked on becoming a different person, which means practicing how you think. So what I coach and train is that you should not allow yourself to think based on your circumstances. You shouldn't, if you're a coach or a consultant or a salesperson, allow yourself to think of yourself and your potentiality based on the results you currently are achieving. Because to become someone new, to up-level your business, to up-level your life, to up-level your relationships, to up-level anything, you have to think greater than your current environment. You have to think greater than your current mind. And so that's all I did for January and February, is I just became a different thinking person. I thought like someone that was in a different model. I made choices and decisions like someone in a different model. I felt into someone that was going to have a different business structure, and I practiced it. Just like an athlete practices their skills every single day. They go back out on that tennis court and they hit the ball over and over and over. I did the same thing. I believed hard and I practiced it. And then from the new vantage point that I had, I was able to really quickly make really excellent decisions and implement. So by the time that you and I connected, I was already the person that had that much different business model and had scaled and was offering my services in a completely different way. All I needed when you and I connected was you to tell me exactly what to do, to tell me how to implement it. And it was just, honestly, it was a piece of cake, and it was really fun and it was exciting. And it can be like that for everybody. It can absolutely be like that for everybody.
Okay, so a couple of things there I would love to have you explain and maybe even give an example for our listeners. So when you were just talking about not focusing or making your decisions from or thinking from your current circumstances.
Right.
It would be really cool if you like a business example of like, what are the circumstances that you see business owners like constantly looking at over and over and over and over again that are keeping them stuck, you know, and maybe this is a two-part question. It's like, why are we setting goals over here and we're setting a goal every month, but like every month we're not hitting the goal. And then like 6 months later, we turn around and say, every time I set a goal, I'm not hitting the goal, paying attention. So can you kind of like help us wrap our minds around what you mean by making those decisions from your current circumstances and why that doesn't work?
Yeah. Yeah, because your brain is always looking for confirmation that what is present is true. And so when you take a look at what you have done, okay, what I did last week, what I did last month, or maybe bigger goals, what I did last year, when you look at that and you make a decision as the person that created that, all you can do is create more of that. When you think and feel, we call that a neural pathway. When you think and feel based on looking at something that you've created, then you are literally thinking and feeling only at the level of that creation. So, and this is science, and this is the science that I teach. And that's why I said all the things mindset's not, because mindset is really understanding the quantum field and understanding your brain, understanding neuroscience, understanding, not from like a brain surgeon perspective, but a basic amount of neuroscience is necessary to really implement change and really understand how the brain works and how to work with your own brain. So a neural pathway is just a habit of thinking and feeling. I always describe it as a well-worn path. And we have well-worn paths, and then we create a result because of the well-worn path. And then we look at that result and we decide that that's a result we like, and then we think and feel more from that level. The problem with that is then people start to report they can't move past something. So it's not that they're necessarily unhappy, although sometimes that's the case, but it's like, this is the money I've always made. This is what's always worked. This is who I've always been. This is the way I've always done it. And your life and business start to look a lot like Groundhog's Day. It's just over and over. Then you have a conscious thought, like, I really want to have this new thing. And so that's the desire, that's the goal. I want to have this new thing that I've never done before. But all you've got is that neural pathway that's supported where you've been. So you can see that other goal. You can see the finish line, if you will. You're like, oh, it's that thing I want over there. But you're thinking and feeling in the version of you that can only complete what you've already completed. And this is what keeps people stuck in all areas of their life. Now, my focus is on just teaching everybody those skills, and especially teaching sales professionals how to do it. But this works in relationships, it works in weight loss. You have to learn how to implement and create in your subconscious mind new ways of thinking and feeling. And we call that your state of being. A new state of being, a new way of thinking, a new way of feeling creates a person that generates new action. Not from willpower, not from force, not from a to-do list, not from pushing an external push, but from an internal motor that comes from being a very different person.
Yeah.
And then it's just all automatic. And that's when it gets really easy, it gets really fun, and everything comes like rushing into you as you've opened up possibility through thinking and feeling ahead of yourself.
Yeah.
And then you just rinse and repeat. You just do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again. And the best combination, if you want to change your business, the best combination is to get yourself with a great implementer. Somebody that's like, I know exactly what to do. I'm an expert. I'm going to show you. And then have that mindset, build the mindset to implement ahead of time. The mistake is to think, sitting over here, me who I've always been, I'll just go do a bunch of new things and that'll create new results. And it won't. I mean, you might get a little bit of traction, and certainly people do. You know, either sale here, sale there, for sure, absolutely. But you're not going to change your business, and you're not going to change who you are unless you do the work first on your mindset and then have the action come after you've laid the groundwork. And you can actually do the work at the same time. I shouldn't say this to be one before the other. You can do it simultaneously. But what you can't do is show up as who you've always been in your state of being, throw new actions, and think everything's going to change, because you can't maintain thinking and feeling at that new level.
Yeah. And from a business like strategic place, and having worked with so many people, and I share this pretty frequently, and I use you as an example because out of all the people I've ever worked with, I mean, and it's over 1,000 at this point, you're probably in the top like 3 people ever that I've ever worked with, where you had your mindset and your confidence and your footing so solid in who you were, in your craft, in already thinking and believing that what you said you wanted, also known as your goal, it was like as good as done. You were already thinking at that level, you were already feeling at that level. And from a business coaching perspective, at this point, I can sense it and feel it in somebody based on how they show up to a coaching call, based on how they are sitting at their desk when they're on, Zoom on a call. I can sense it from their tone of voice when they ask a question on a call. And immediately something inside of me goes, and it's a feeling first. And the first feeling, the best way I can describe it, it's almost like I get nervous. Like it's almost like that kind of a feeling where it's like, this person is nowhere close from a mindset, belief system place. There's such a mismatch between that and what they say they want. And then my thought goes, next it's like, it doesn't matter if I give them the best 10-step formulaic process, it's just not going to work. Like it's just not going to work. And out of everybody I've worked with, every single time we were getting on a call, we weren't thinking like 15 steps down the road. It's like, I know what I want to do. What do I do next? Go out and do it. And like in complete trust, certainty, faith, belief that it was already as good as done. And that's where like the magic is. That's where the magic is from, like, all of you are entrepreneurs. It's like just signing up for the courses and just being in the business programs and just getting your hands on like the strategies, the tactics, the formulas. It's not enough. And I think this is one of the things that's happening with people when they're jumping from course to course.
Yeah.
Because they want to get their hands on the next trendy tactic. And then like 10 courses later, they're like, why am I not further along? And it's this piece that we're talking about right here. It's one more tactic is not going to create the result. The tactic.
Yeah, and they do all kinds. People do all kinds of versions of this. There's a lot of program hopping. There's shiny object syndrome. I'll just go and do the next thing and all that. And so that's a problem because you're never landing somewhere long enough to do the work that has to be done. But I think one of the saddest things that I see, and I know you see it too, and we've had so many conversations about it, is when people give up on themselves. That either it doesn't work, whatever it is that they're trying to achieve, or it's me, I can't do it. It works, but I can't do it, or both. I'm no good and it doesn't work. And that's the saddest thing of all, because really when you just put these two pieces together, it's everything. And that is, to your point, that is the magic. And I love something that you said, because I talk about it all the time with my clients. And I talk about it in Momentum and Rise to Legendary constantly. And that is a space called done energy. I also refer to it as like living from the R line. And that's really what I had when I came to you. And it's what I'm coaching and training our clients on all the time. And that is, you've got to get ahead of your current environment. You've got to think and feel beyond where you are. And so to your point, like when I met you, it was as good as done. In my mind, there was literally no part of me that thought, what if this doesn't work? Or what if it only works a little bit? Or what if I can't do it? Those thoughts were long gone because I already was that new version of the person I was going to be. And that doesn't mean that we didn't tinker. Sometimes you used to try it this way and I'm like, well, could I do it that way? It doesn't mean like I just plugged and played. But what I didn't do was doubt at all. I just knew if I could show up and put myself in your hands and be like, listen, this is where I'm going. Can you just give me the path? Can I just go? Like the mindset was already there. I was already that person. And I'm constantly coaching this to other people is stop trying to throw action at your goal. That's going to happen anyway, because you're always going to have to take action for a goal. You're going to have to take massive action for a goal. But the thing is, no matter how great the plan, to your point, no matter how great the template, if you don't have the mindset to take massive action, you will self-sabotage. You will feel too small for the goal. You will feel incapable of it. And you will literally for reasons I won't get into today, but literally because your brain will never accept something that's too far beyond the subconscious belief level. You literally will destroy your own potential goal for the sake of verifying your subconscious beliefs. And so you have to do the work on the beliefs first. You have to be a person that's ahead of where you are, and then the goal catches up with you. So I talk a lot and I train a lot on the neuroscience piece of this about getting into done energy and then letting reality catch up with who you've already become. People do it the opposite way, Megan. Yeah. They're like, I'm going to feel really confident when I get the business. Yeah. I'm going to feel really good and really capable and like the coach I know I can be as soon as they all buy the thing. As soon as as soon as that stuff happens, that's when I'll feel that. And it's like, no, wait. It's exactly the opposite. You've got to become that person, and then all of it will come right behind it. And that's really my overarching message all the time.
I love it. Something else that you can articulate so beautifully, Liz, and this is something that is talked about a lot in the coaching industry, especially with mindset coaches, and that is the law of attraction. Can you explain, like when people are teaching and they are relying on the law of attraction, explain what that really means and how that differs from what you're talking about here today?
Yeah. So sometimes I get a little bit up on my soapbox on this. It's true. I'm not a huge fan of the way the law of attraction is taught most of the time. And that is not to put down anyone or judge anyone that's teaching it. I just think there are so many gaps in the way it's being taught that a lot of people, again, come to the conclusion because they're not fully understanding the science. They come to the conclusion, again, that it doesn't work or it doesn't work for me. And so what I'm always trying to explain to people is that law of attraction is, just the metaphysical conversation around real science, around the science of quantum physics and the understanding that everything in the world is already in a field of potentiality called the quantum field. And it exists in wave format, which is just a way that atoms show up, that they're not physically manifested yet. And so everything that anybody can conceive of and anything that's ever been created in the universe was first in a field of potentiality. And so I think where the law of attraction confuses people is they think, I just have to sit over here and I just have to think about the money. I know I want a lot of it and I know I'm really happy when I have it. And so I'm just going to pour a lot of positive thoughts around money. And then I think money is just going to kind of swoop into my experience. And that's just not really the way it works. And then I think that sets people up for frustration. So the way I like to describe it is I like to describe like a fish in a fishbowl. And you've got this like little, like the fishbowl that you get like when you buy the goldfish, like the little one that comes from the pet store. And so we're all in our own little fish bowls. We're all in our own little paradigms of what we believe is possible. And so when you want, let's say, some more money in your business, when you want to grow your business, you're inside this little paradigm, your little fish bowl. And so then you decide you're just going to take like a ton of new action and you're just going to take a deeper dive. And the thing is, every time you take a deeper dive in your little paradigm, you hit the edge of that glass over and over and over and over. And so that's when you like study all the podcasts and read all the books and, I'm going to just really learn how to dive better. And so you just keep diving and you just keep hitting your head. And this can go on for decades. And then one day you realize, well, wait one second. I know I need a bigger fish tank. It's not that I can't dive. It's that I need a bigger fish tank. And if I have a bigger fish tank, then I'll be able to take that dive. And the bigger fish tank is really a representation of believing differently. The small fish tank is what you believe. A bigger fish tank is a new set of beliefs. So when you think about the quantum field and creating, when you think about law of attraction is telling a lot of people, or they're misinterpreting it. It's telling them, stay in the little fishbowl and just want it more. Just want it more. Just like you gotta want to dive more. Just keep doing it. And you got to love diving. You need to love diving. You need to never think about how much it hurts to hit your head. It's all the positive thinking, dive, positive thinking, dive. It doesn't work. What does work is to decide, I'm going to become the person that believes more. That believes bigger than what I've currently believed. And when you do that, when you can move your belief system to something that's larger, we call that a paradigm. So you literally increase the space of your belief, then all of a sudden you can dive. And that's when all of a sudden you have access to all the things the deeper dive will take you to. So
Okay.
it's, you become another version of you, and then the world reflects back to you this other version of you. That's what people need to understand. And that's quantum physics. Now, some people get that from law of attraction, but just a lot of people don't. And so it's really frustrating because they're well-meaning business owners and sales professionals, and they think, I just have to want it more.
Yeah.
And you can want it all you want, but if you stay in the same fishbowl, you're never getting over there into the ocean.
So what would you say to someone who's like, okay, I hear you. And you know what? A lot of people say, okay, I hear you. I've heard all this before.
I've done it all before. Yeah.
Done it all before.
Yeah.
And something else that I have heard quite frequently is, okay, I hear you saying, I've got to like think the thoughts and specifically like feel the feelings of that person who has already reached that goal or attained that result. But if I'm feeling like crappy over here, or I'm in fear, I'm in doubt, I'm in worry, I'm in jealousy, I'm in anger, how the heck, Liz, do you expect me to feel these feelings over here of empowerment and joy and hopefulness when I'm not there yet? I hear that a lot. So speak to that. Who's
yeah, I love that. I love that question so much. And yeah, I have people all the time. I got to tell you, I think you and I hear this so much. People are like, I've already done all the I've read every book on earth. I know it all. And I'm like, well, apparently you don't, because you would have already changed your life if you had, because results don't lie. And oh, by the way, you haven't, because you haven't worked with me yet. But that's such a great question, because you're right. People aren't showing up in joy and excitement. They're showing up in doubt and frustration. And they're like, yeah, if I have to be like happy to build a bigger fish tank, I'm screwed, because I'm not that happy. I'm really frustrated. I've been at this for a long time. And they do feel that they've been lied to. You know, they have done all the mindset stuff. They have done like the gratitude journaling and the positive thinking. But the thing is, they don't have the user manual for their mind, and they don't understand it. So the subconscious is where we house all of our beliefs. But the subconscious is not analytical. It's not linear. It doesn't use language. So that's why sitting around and saying, I love money, I want more money, I'm capable of more money, that's all analytical. It's all prefrontal cortex. It's all conscious thought. It doesn't move the needle of our subconscious beliefs, doesn't touch it. Subconscious belief is all in imagery and in feelings. So my message to somebody that's feeling doubt is, the worst thing we can do is pretend we're not feeling what we're feeling. Another message law of attraction has taken us off of, because people are afraid, like, if I think something negative, I'm going to attract negative things. So I'm just going to pretend that I'm happy. I'm very, very, very happy that I don't have any money in my bank account. We can't do that at all. We have to be emotionally honest. And that's something I also teach, is how to process your emotions, how to be comfortable with negative emotion, be able to see it, acknowledge it. But what I teach is that your feelings are just a thermostat. They're just telling you what direction you're headed. They're telling you, are you moving toward your goal, or are you moving away? You'll feel good when you're moving toward. You'll feel not so great when you're moving away. But if you don't assess it, if you're not honest about where you are, you can't start to put the practices in place that I teach, the daily written work and understanding the lower and higher brain. You can't use those skills if you're not being emotionally honest. So if you're frustrated, you got to be like, I'm frustrated. If you're confused, you've got to be like, I'm confused. But from there, we can start to tell a better feeling story about what's possible. And it sounds like a long process, like 6 months. It's not at all. I'm finishing up a course right now that we put together in Momentum, and it's all about that. It's 6 weeks, and these people are having unbelievable results, because it doesn't take that long. What it does take is a commitment to daily written work, morning and night, not 2 hours, maybe 15 minutes. But if you start to very gently pay attention to what you're feeling and start to kind of build that bigger fish tank slowly, using the exact methods I teach and that we've put together in our courses, it's very quickly you'll start to feel differently. You'll start to think differently, and you'll start to keep upticking and upticking. And then what comes right after the feeling better and the thinking differently is, all of a sudden, some results start to change. and things start showing up. And that's not because you've been thinking positively, it's because you're actually changing your belief system at the subconscious level. When you change what you believe, what you will find coming out of the quantum field matches the person you've become. So we literally are just changing who we are by slowly speaking to the next version of who we are. So we don't start from frustration and go to happy, 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 because you can't get there. We practice what I call bridging the gap.
Yeah.
And it's not a difficult process. It just takes a daily commitment. And like I said, people right now in the course that the 6-week course, amazing results. And they're only just beginning week 5.
Yeah. So I'm loving all of this. And I think where people also go a bit astray, let's say that they learn these models and they are implementing what you're sharing and it gets them out of the big hole that they're in and they get to this next level. People stop. And the number of times that both of us in our careers have heard something comes up for somebody and they're like, oh my gosh, I thought I dealt with this 10 years ago. I can't believe this is coming up again. And oftentimes you can kind of spot they haven't been doing that daily work. And like you just said, it is daily. It's a commitment. And you have to recommit to it every single day. Like it has to be a non-negotiable in your life and in your business every single day. You still have to do it when you're a millionaire because there's another new level and there's another level of limiting beliefs. So can you speak a little truth into this is not just like a one and done and I'm like healed and I never have to think about this stuff or do this stuff ever again, because from my perspective, that's not working for anybody.
Yeah, I love that too. And yes, we hear that all the time. I used to hear that a lot when I did private coaching, is people would come back to me and say, well, everything was really great when we were working together for that year we were working together. It was all working and now it's not working anymore. And I'm like, wait, it's not working anymore or you're not doing the work anymore? Which is it? And usually 99% of the time they're like, well, I'm not doing any work because we're not working together. Well, did you think it was magically going to keep happening? That's like joining the gym, right? Getting the gym membership and never going. Like the magic isn't joining in the membership. The magic isn't that you don't have like the card to get into the gym. The magic is like that you go to the gym and you do something. So it is a commitment. And I think one of the biggest mistakes is to think that exactly what you just said, that there's some level like of nirvana that we get to where all of a sudden we're like, I'm free, like forever I can create. And no way, absolutely no way. The only chance you have of being okay with the work you've done is if you literally go sit in a closet and plan to not change any of your life for the rest of your life. You might be able to get through. And I'm not even positive you can, but there's a good chance. But if you're going to continue to grow as a human being, if you're going to continue to serve and up-level who you are and become the next version of yourself, then you better believe that you're going to have your cage rattled every so often. Every time you try and take a step up,
yes,
you're going to have all that lower brain programming is going to come right back up. And I think it's always an opportunity to recognize it and clean it up and say like, oh, I remember this version of myself that's like coming back up and reminding me you can't do it. I encountered that version when I was only making X amount of dollars. And I remember it came up when I then made this amount. And I know what's happening here. I'm going for this new thing and I've never done this thing before and it's uncomfortable and it's new. And that's why this is coming up. So I'm always telling my clients, like, nothing has gone wrong here. When that happens, nothing has gone wrong unless you do nothing about it. And then everything will go wrong. But if you just notice when you get that kind of lower brain messaging that comes up and is like, who do you think you are? You can't do it. You've never done it before, which is one of the worst things to ever think. You don't have what it takes. You're too old. You're too young. You don't have the experience. The stuff. When the stuff comes up, it's like, oh, I know what's going on here. I've just got to double down on my thought feeling loops, on my neural pathways. I've got to practice being in done energy and thinking ahead of that. And I also teach some other techniques like how to comfort those thoughts, how to speak to those thoughts, how to allow them to be there, not to resist them, but rather accept them. But the most important thing for people to know is there is no place you get to where that stops happening. As long as you're alive and you're growing and you're evolving, that stuff comes up. Because mindset's not about fixing problems. Mindset is about learning and evolving and growing. And so there is no I'm done.
Yeah.
Not when it comes to mindset work. So yeah, I think people have to be ready to commit. But here's the thing, it's like 10, 15, sometimes 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night. People spend more time blow drying their hair, for the love of God, than they do on their mindset. They really do. Or I've read the book. And again, that's like taking a book out of the library on how to work out and reading it and think you're going to get fit.
Yeah.
You got to do it. You got to go to the gym every day to get fit. You got to go to the gym after you're fit to stay fit. And when you want to get more fit, you got to go more often. It's the same thing with mindset work. It's just a daily commitment. And if you're all in on that commitment, sky's the limit to who you can become and what you're capable of producing.
So what might be like one or two steps or tips or tools or strategies that you could leave our audience with today that they can start implementing on a daily basis? It's kind of like rewiring their brains, feeling and thinking differently so that they can move in that forward direction.
Yeah, so the most basic tool that I teach that most basic that everybody's doing, and the people that are at the highest level of mindset work are also still doing this. So this is like my foundation that has to happen every day, is just getting up, taking out a piece of paper and doing a thought download every single day. And that really sometimes is 60 seconds, 90 seconds, 3 minutes, a piece of paper. You can do it just in general, or you can do it on something you're trying to create, like a goal. And you just sit and you just let everything in your head come out on paper. You can't do this in your head. You got to do it on paper so that you slow your mind down, and then you have the opportunity to look at it. We have 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day. And so when people are like, no, I'm aware of what I'm thinking. No, you're not. So you really want to get up and kind of, same way you hop in the shower in the morning, you brush your teeth in the morning, it's the same thing. You want to clean out what's in your head, and you want to take a really good look at it. And that's a practice I recommend that is just non-negotiable. And we build on that and it gets more sophisticated. The other thing is to start to check in with yourself, do like emotional check-ins during the day. So rather than just be about the day and then all of a sudden, have something happen in the afternoon and realize you're frustrated or you're angry, I really suggest that you come up with a daily schedule, maybe 3 times a day, morning, noon, and night, where you really just sit with yourself quietly and you say, what am I feeling right now? And that's because those feelings, like I said, are directional signals where you're headed. So am I headed where I want to be with my goal and who I'm becoming, or am I moving away from it? And we don't assess it in a judgmental way, like, what am I doing wrong, or why can't I get this right? It's so that we can then speak to it. We can speak to the feeling and say, okay, I realize I'm feeling really frustrated. I've been sitting here trying to post something on Facebook, trying to do something, trying to send an email. I'm realizing I'm really frustrated. What is it that I'm thinking that has me frustrated? Because the biggest mistake, Megan, that holds people back is they look to something outside of themselves to explain what they're feeling. So they look to their business, they look to their spouse, they look to a pandemic, they look to things outside of themselves to explain what they're feeling. And that's the most powerless place you can ever be in. And from that place, you cannot become another version of yourself, because you're just a victim of everything around you. And so now who you are is being dictated by things you can't control. Total loss of power. But when you understand, wait, I'm in charge of what I think, and what I think creates what I feel, now you've taken all your power back. So you have to do step 1 to do step 2. Because if you just do the feeling check-in, if you're like, well, I'll just check in with my feelings during the day, you've lost that relationship between your feelings and your thoughts. So you want to start with a thought download in the morning, just get it all on paper, take a look at it, and think about, how am I feeling, and see that relationship to what you wrote and how you're feeling. And then check in a couple times during the day. I have clients that literally set like an alarm on their phone, and then they do like a 30-second check-in, and they're just, what am I feeling? And maybe you love what you're feeling. Fantastic. Keep going. Be curious about what you're thinking that's making you feel so great. But what if you're feeling off? You're feeling one of those energies you don't want to be feeling. Then just be curious about it and say, what am I thinking that's creating this? And that gives you that awareness, which is the baseline for all mindset work and for all the work that is valuable to build upon. So that's the most important 2-step process, is noticing your thoughts and your feelings daily, often, consistently, forever.
Yeah, love it. And I know you teach this stuff every single day. I know you've got a Facebook group where you talk about a lot of these things and a bit more.
Yeah.
I know you have programs on this. Obviously, you are the mindset mastery coach in all of our programs at Structure, Freedom, and Momentum and Rise to Legendary. You've been over there since November, working with our clients every single week. So if anyone listening here, and this is for, I don't care if you're listening to this and you're already making $1 million, or if you're making $500,000 or $100,000 or no dollars or anything in between. This is for everybody at every single level. So where can people connect with you at a deeper level?
Yeah, so I would love to invite people to just come on over and join my Mindset Mastery School page. So that's a Mindset Mastery School for women in business. Megan, I'm sure you'll drop the link to that. And it is a really awesome community. All of my clients, present, past, all of my students in all my programs, lots of the Women in Momentum and Rise to Legendary, they're all in there. They're super active. I train every single week. I take requests for what people want training on. I post every single day. I highlight success stories from my clients, what they've done, why it's worked, how it's worked, their exact strategies. And I also launch my programs over there too. So it's a really cool community. It's an active community. People like to share. They like to ask questions. And it's a very uplifting community. There's no negativity going on over there, but there's a lot of authenticity and transparency. You know, people don't show up pouring pink paint everywhere. They show up and they're like, hey, I need some help on this. What do you got, kind of thing. So it's a super cool page, and I would love to have everybody come on over and join me there.
Awesome. So that is Liz's Facebook group right here on the Facebook platform. Her Facebook group, Mindset Mastery School for Women in Business. So go ahead and type that in, go join that Facebook group. And also we will put it in the comments, and then you can check your email because we're going to put it in our replay email from our Wednesday call. So Liz, this was fantastic. I know that people took a lot of notes, and I want to encourage everybody, rather than just showing up and taking the notes, take the couple of steps that Liz gave you here at the end and start implementing those on a daily basis. Just start there. And I guarantee you, like a week from now, you're probably going to grow tremendously just from those two things. And imagine if those two things work that well, what it would be like to get access to all the tools and the techniques and methodologies that Liz teaches. So Liz, this was incredible. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Megan.
All right. Bye, everybody.